We could not make camp in the damp forest glade, so I led my companions along an old path towards the base of the mountain. It was overgrown with all manner of foliage, and the footing was difficult. Armor and weapons littered the path, and stakes stood tall, covered with vines and moss. Glancing around, I spotted a magnificent blade. Light yet firm and unblemished by the elements, it shone in the rain and lightning, a lone light in the darkening trail. The hilt was fashioned from steel, inlaid with silver and gold to form the figure of a defiant, wingless dragon. As we reached the summit, I could not believe my eyes. A ruined yet imposing castle loomed above us. Quietly rejoicing, my comrades moved towards their new camp. Then we heard the howls. The massive wolves bounded out of the door of the castle towards my soldiers. Fearing for their lives, they drew weapons, only to hear a voice from the shadows address the wolves or the men in a thick Malachian accent. "Stand down, fellows!" Throwing large slabs of meat to the ravenous wolves, he calmed them and satiated their hunger. Then he turned to us. "Welcome to Polyanari Castle, the ancient stronghold of the Draculesti." The mysterious man raised his hands in a gesture of welcome. "It is well that your path has led you here. Come inside, sit by the fire and feast, while I tell you the tale of Vlad Dracula." "My lord, the landscape around us is crawling with Daneshti scum, but 3 local voivodes resist Vladislav's reign. We should seek them out and see if they are willing to join our cause."
Yaparım, tamam. Emret, yaparım, tamam. Yaparım. Evet, yaparım, tamam. Yaparım.
Dracula, your timing could not have been better. Vladislav's forces march here as we speak.
Yaparım.
Take my men and drive them off.
Tamam, yaparım. Evet, tamam, yaparım. Tamam.
Forward, men! Bring me Mircha's head!
Hazır ol, yaparım. Hazır ol. Tamam, yaparım. Evet. Emret, saldır. Tamam, ileri. Evet. Emret, yaparım. Allah Allah. Hazır ol. Evet, tamam, yaparım.
Well fought, Dracula. I will follow you to the abyss and back.
Hazır ol. Tamam, yaparım. Tamam, yaparım. Yaparım, tamam. Yaparım. Emret. Tamam, yaparım. Tamam, yaparım. Tamam.
Vladislav pillages my lands with impunity, Dracula. Even now, more of his reavers prepare to cross the nearby bridge, find a way to destroy it, and all of the men that I can muster are yours.
"Lord Dracula, the Daneshti fools store a cache of gunpowder inside that tower overlooking the river. If we were to fire it, the explosion would surely be enough to demolish that bridge."
Yaparım, tamam. Yaparım, tamam, yaparım. İleri. Allah Allah. Tamam, evet. Yapamam. Saldır. Yapamam. İleri. Yaparım, tamam. Yaparım. Hazır ol. Tamam. Yaparım. Tamam, yaparım, tamam. Hazır ol. Tamam, yaparım, tamam, yaparım. Tamam.
Aha, the sweet smell of burning gunpowder. Oh, you are a man worthy of my loyalty, Dracula.
Evet.
That rascal Vladislav have seized the nearby settlement and cut us off from our trade.
Tamam.
If you can retake it,
Evet,
I
yaparım.
will reward you handsomely.
Tamam. Yaparım. Tamam. Hazır ol. Yaparım. Evet. Emret. Evet. Hazır ol. Tamam. İleri. Allah Allah. Emret. Saldır. İleri. Evet. Yaparım. Tamam. Hazır ol. Evet. Emret. Evet. Allah Allah. Yaparım. Tamam. Saldır. Yaparım. Evet. Hazır ol. Tamam. Allah Allah. Evet. Hazır ol. Emret. Yaparım. Tamam. Yaparım. Hazır ol.
Bless you,
Emret. Tamam. Yaparım. Tamam.
This man will
Evet,
do your
yaparım.
bidding,
Tamam.
and this gold will finance your war.
Tamam. Yaparım. Tamam. Yaparım.
The wolf is cornered, but not yet dead. It is time to take the fight to his den.
Tamam, hazır ol. Yaparım. Tamam. Yaparım. Hazır ol. Yaparım.
This
Tamam.
is the rebel
Emret,
you
yaparım.
bring
Tamam.
before
Hazır ol.
me?
Yaparım. Tamam.
Prepare to feel the wrath of
Evet,
Beneshti.
yaparım. Tamam. Evet. Emret, hazır ol. Yaparım. Allah Allah. Emret. Evet, tamam. Hazır ol. Yaparım. Emret, tamam. Evet, saldır. Hazır ol. Allah Allah. Emret, tamam. Yaparım. Evet, tamam. Saldır.
Slay all the Neshti that you find, but bring Vladislav to me. I want him alive.
My lord, a large Hungarian army approaches from the north, with Vladislav at its head.
Curses! We cannot hope to face such a force. I will seek refuge with my cousin Bogdan in Moldavia.
I stepped forth, holding out the mysterious sword and scabbard for our host to inspect. The Order of the Dragon, he said at once. What you have just brought me is the lost blade of Vlad Dracula himself. I was shocked and immediately demanded an explanation. Our host's eyes flashed, and there was a strange look on his face. Finally, the rush of memories seemed to slow and become more controlled. That is a long story. But then again, we have a long time until dawn. Dracula sought refuge at the Moldavian court. There, he learned that Vladislav II had begun to mediate peace talks between the Ottomans and Hungarians, securing his position as voivode of Wallachia. Furious, Dracula swore vengeance on Ottomans, Wallachian boyars, and Danish clansmen alike. Dracula knew that he needed to enlist the aid of the Hungarians against Vladislav II, whose policies favored the Ottomans. He also remembered his education under the Crusading Order of the Dragon and wanted to honor his vows. The Order was a powerful ally, and their Crusader knights would serve Dracula well against his enemies. As he paced the streets of the Moldavian capital, Dracula mused over his plan to reclaim his kingdom. As the mysterious old man paused, I rose up to take another slab of venison. The old man stared into the fire, watching the flames dance as if they were soldiers involved in a raging battle. His eyes flashed again as a thought entered his mind, and he grasped the majestic old sword. Meanwhile, Sultan Mehmet II had ascended to the Ottoman throne. Dracula loathed Mehmet from their time in Edirne, and he knew that the Turks would be a thorn in his side for years to come. In 1453, they had conquered Constantinople, but they were presently occupied with campaigns in Greece and Serbia. Bogdan II, Dracula's cousin and the new voivode of Moldavia, had heard of his kinsman's plight and offered his help. If Dracula could cross the Carpathian Mountains into Transylvania and ally with Hungary, then they could launch a three-pronged assault on Vladislav II and the Turks.
Welcome, Vlad. What do you desire from humble Moldavia?
I need advice on how to reclaim Wallachia, my birthright.
To the northwest, in the Transylvania forest, lies the Bram Castle, a stronghold of the Order of the Dragon. You will find supporters there.
We will ride there with all haste.
Go, but beware of the Neshti troops on the road. Halt, friends! A large Neshti force blocks the mountain pass. If you were to slay the Neshti general in command of the forward camp, it may draw the attention of the army and lure them away.
Die, scum! And now, quickly to the pass. Arise, brothers of the dragon! Let us send the usurper to his grave!
Szolgálatára.
Igen, gazdálkodom.
Igen.
Parancs. Gazdálkodom.
Parancs. Gazdálkodom.
Jó napot, fát vágok. Értettem. Gyűjtögetek. Fát vágok. Szolgálatára. Építkezek. Építkezek. Építkezek.
The Order of the Dragon is decadent and feeble. My cavalry will trample you into the dirt.
This mine may prove useful later. We can use these mining camps to help clear away the rubble from that bridge.
Fools, you will fall like your father and brother before you.
Igen.
Szolgálatára.
Építkezek.
Parancs. Értettem. Építkezek. Építkezek. Jó napot. Építkezek.
Dracula, I see no point in us fighting when we share a common enemy in the Turks. If you would supply our army, we would gladly aid your cause.
Excellent! We fight with you!
Szolgálatára. Rendben. Értettem. Igen, rendben.
You may have the support of the Hungarians,
Értettem.
but I have the Ottomans behind me.
Értettem.
You will make a fine target for our gunners.
usurper Vladislav II is dead! Long live Vlad Dracula!
The elderly man gave a thin smile. Tenacity of mind can compensate for other disadvantages. As Dracula slaughtered untold numbers of enemy troops, the large circle of impaled men outside Dargovista grew to awe and disgust travelers for weeks to come. Dracula owned Wallachia once more, but it was not the land his forebears ruled. Barren from endless wars, it was rife with corruption, crime, and poverty. Aghast, I asked my host how Dracula managed to reform a ruined shell of a country so quickly. Grinning, the light flashed across the old man's eye again. Dracula despised dishonesty and crime, and sought to eliminate it. He knew that Wallachia had to become strong enough to face its enemies, and soon. And so, his reforms began. The punishment for all offenses was death. For Dracula needed to make an example of criminals. Under his strong rule, trade was reopened and the economy blossomed. Proud of his achievement, Dracula placed a golden cup in the central square of Dargovista. The cup was never once touched throughout his reign. I was shocked. The fear of the stake was surely enough to prevent crime. But to rule Wallachia while simultaneously evading the plots of the boyars was no small feat. Dracula invited all of the boyars to a feast and asked them how many rulers they had seen perish due to treachery. None had seen fewer than 7 reigns, while some had even seen 30. Furious, Dracula arrested them all and marched them here to the former ruin of Puglianari Castle. For months they labored to rebuild the castle, toiling even after their clothes fell off. Those who survived were slain. Finally, Dracula had eradicated the fickle, conniving boyars. He replaced them with loyal followers, be they knights or common peasants. Strong again, the dragon was ready to breathe a flame that would engulf his enemies, the Turks.
My lord, I have scouted the fortress of Georgiou, but it is well defended. We will need siege weapons to take it.
Да, Господи, сделаю. Вашим услугам. Вашим услугам.
These Turkish bombards will come in handy.
Бой. Понятно. Атака. Да, понятно. Да, Господи. Да, Господи. Да.
Vlad Dracula is here to liberate us from the Turks!
Атака. Вашему оружию. Приказание. Атака. К оружию. Вашим услугам. Атака.
Georgiou is ours! From here, we can extend our control throughout the entire region!
Приказание.
Здравствуйте, ас готов. Приказание. Ремонтник, ремонтник.
are but a small village. If you spare us, we will give you all that we have. Spare us, great Dracula. We will give you everything that we have.
Much of the food supply in the region comes from Novoselo. If we destroy all of their mills, the enemy will be unable to feed as many men as they would like.
We had no other choice than to help the Turks. They threatened to kill our families. Enough, please, enough. I'm sure that for a certain price, you can find it in your heart to spare us.
Dar's door has fallen. This will weaken the Ottoman hold on the region. This wise man, whomever he was certainly no commoner. I wondered aloud if perhaps he had fought in the wars of which he spoke. My question was answered with a grin and a nod. I was awed. To encounter a soldier who has survived those years of turmoil and bloody warfare was rare. We sacked Giorgio, Darstor, Novoselo, Dridopoiron, and many more towns, he muttered, revealing the scars on his arms. Our strikes were swifter than bolts of lightning. Yes, we have peace now. But I have never found it. Not a single day goes by when I do